A new week and a new video in our series, and that means we're officially starting another branch of the 9 Worthies. Which branch, you might ask?
Hello, everybody!
That's right, the Jews! A proud and often fiscally responsible people.
Whatever doesn't kill me makes me more famous and rich, so.
But in all seriousness, if you're new here, this is a series where we look at the 9 Worthies, 3 Jews, 3 pagans, and 3 Christians that embody masculine virtue in medieval age. In today's particular episode, we're going to analyze the difference between achieving greatness and being great, about the importance of never thinking you're beyond reproach, regardless of your accomplishments or successes, and no one could help drive that message home better than King David himself. Now, we've talked at length about greatness, but what comes after those first few steps towards it?
I made it! Ow.
The fall. As much as I wish it wasn't so, you will fail, you will stumble, you will make mistakes. And the harder you try to do what's right, the tougher and tougher the challenges are going to get. And nothing is tougher than living life as a righteous man. Nothing is harder than waking up every day and deciding that you'll live, work, and fight, not for yourself, but for those who came before you, for those who are here in front of you now, and those who will come after you. That is our duty as men, but the work never stops. And maybe the hardest part of your journey will come after you've achieved some greatness, because the snake that raises its head so often in our lives today isn't fear, it isn't doubt, but apathy. And apathy comes like a thief in the night for the righteous man. Take King David, for instance. Now, his story starts off great enough. The young boy facing a giant on his own, right, and winning the day for King Saul. He was a loyal servant, a fierce warrior, and a man of great faith. But finally, the day came for him to be king, and something happened. Indifference set into his heart. He found himself lusting over another man's wife, ultimately putting that man in harm's way and getting him killed. But when being confronted by a prophet of the Lord over his misdeeds, David repents and attempts to change. Time goes on. Indifference eventually sets in again. His daughter is raped by his own son Amnon, and David does nothing. His second son Absalom slays Amnon in retribution, and David does nothing. Absalom goes to war with his father, and David orders his men not to slay Absalom in battle. Absalom dies in battle, and David neglects his people who have gone to war on his behalf for so long a time. David's sin, the one thing that kept getting in the way of him remaining great, was apathy. Apathy as a man, apathy as a father, apathy as a king and a leader. David's life, it was one of many ups and downs, many successes, and many failings. And, I want to say one of the common misconceptions about the Bible from people not overly familiar with it is that it somehow endorses all the actions of the great men within it. No. The reason why David's story is great, why it's so important, is because of how it reminds us that there will never come a point when our work as men will be done. There will never be any set of accomplishments or status that absolves us from remaining vigilant and steadfast in our journey. Because greatness itself isn't merely about achieving great things. It's about how you live your life every second of every day. There have been kings who have lived as beggars and beggars who've lived as kings merely because of how they invested their time on this earth. And how we choose to invest our time. What company we keep, what kind of work we do, what kind of men we choose to be. This is what will decide our fates. And that decision is not one that is made once and that's it. It's about living in that decision, living in that choice, and not faltering. And I don't mean that you can't fall or make mistakes. Like I said, that part is inevitable. And what I mean is not letting the bad outshine your mission or your purpose. Not letting your failures discourage you from carrying forwards, and not letting your successes themselves become failures by tricking you into thinking the work is over, that you've done enough, that now you can rest. You can't. Because the world needs you. It needs you to hang on and not let go. It needs you to carry forth and to pass down to your children what's been passed down to you. It needs you to not merely be a man who's achieved greatness, but to be a great man. The road is hard. It's filled with sharp rocks and terrible things. It's not for the weak of heart. But like I said in our last episode, our hearts are not weak. We are not weak. King David, despite his failings, was not weak, and neither were the 9. They were men, flawed, imperfect, yet great men, every one of them. And you know, despite our shortcomings, despite our imperfections, that ability to go above and beyond what society tells us we're capable of still lives and breathes in us, so long as we still live and breathe ourselves. So please, don't stop. Listen to your hearts. Don't give in. Stay vigilant no matter the cost. Because the only thing necessary for evil to triumph in this world is that good men do nothing.